What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to TCK Live number 32. Today, I am joined with my fellow kings, Yinko, Jacob, and Evan. And King will be joining us soon. And we have this picture of RJ. So, yeah. So he's always with us.
That's horrible as fuck. No offense to RJ.
But today we will be ranking all 10 episodes of season 4 from our least favorite to our favorite. We'll all be going down one by one. And yeah, should be fun. But before we get into that, let's see who's in the chat. Jason, Sebastian, Twitch Cool, J Phantom, The Real Bad Boy, D King, Melissa, Joel, Nader, Frank, Cobra Jungle, Strike, Fancast, Tristan, FaZe Cloudy, Claus, Lisa, Dennis. We got a lot of people already. Shoot. And Mystic and Evan's here, and Matthew, and yeah, that's everyone. Sorry for the delay, but trust me, the wait will be worth it. Okay.
The wait will be worth it. It will be worth it. It can't be anything worse than what I just watched previously. If you know, you know.
Well,
I should go check that out after this. All right. So I guess, and everyone in the chat, you can go along, say your list, and yeah. All right. So who wants to start with their least favorite episode?
I presume Evan. Would you like to?
Yeah, Evan.
Episode 8. I changed it. It's episode 8. So that was the prom night. That just was not good. Apart from the Silver and Johnny fight, there was just no context to the episode. There was right before the All Valley. There was nothing about it. There was just no story. It was just a prom fight and Stingray hanging out with a bunch of teenagers with an annoying neighbor. That was it. And some annoying sister of Louis. That was it. It was just a load of rubbish. So
before we move on, we got a donation. Real Bad Boy, thank you for the $10. Appreciate it, everybody. Jacob, you want to say what you always say?
So I'll piggyback off what Evan was leading into with that is, as soon as the trailer was revealed, as soon as I saw any notion of a prom, I said, can we please not have this episode? Because what's going to happen is there's going to be some cringe love drama that surfaces and just awful dialogue where, you think I broke your heart, you broke mine too. That's one. And then just awkward encounters, nonsensical fighting for no reason. The only saving grace of the episode was the parts of Silver and Johnny. Like that was literally worth trucking through that entire episode.
Wait, hang on.
The rest
I thought you and Tori Oatmeal. I thought that would have saved it, right?
Oh God.
Even that couldn't save it. Even that couldn't save it at all. God, good grief. But it was the Silver and Johnny stuff that saved it. That saved it just enough because that was epic. But the stuff with the kids was just, God. Oh. Yeah.
All right, so Jacob and Evan love that episode. Yinko, what's your least favorite?
I got episode 9.
Whoa. The first part of the fall.
Yeah. I think it's just because of the tournament wasn't what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, and Carrie Underwood.
On that later, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure Evan loves to talk about that. What I have in last place is actually episode 7, Minefields. I mean, I like the whole thing they were doing with Kenny, but I'm still not big on Anthony. And this episode was very heavy on Anthony, Kenny, which was, I didn't hate it, but I was like, we're on episode 7, and the All Valley is in like 2 episodes. I want to see more, training and that. And we saw a little bit of it, but not as much as I'd love to, which was one of the problems of the season, was not enough training, scenes.
Just
in
the lack of urgency for the All Valley when it's just around the corner.
Yeah. I think also my boy Hawk was just missing from this episode.
Yeah, that really bothered me. Like, as soon as he joins Miyagi-Do in the episode prior, I was like, okay, like this episode, let's get some of his Miyagi-Do training. No.
Yeah, nothing. I like the whole Johnny and Miguel scenes in this episode.
They were good. Especially that one towards like the end where they're sat there together talking.
Yeah, with the watermelons. And the scene was funny with him and Carmen and Miguel. Like, me and your mom are hooking up. And so, yeah, it's just, I don't hate this episode. It's just, like, pretty meh for me. I think it's not as rewatchable as the others.
Better served focusing on other characters kind of thing.
Yeah. Like, this seems like an earlier episode type of episode.
Like much earlier in the season, like episode 2 or 3 or something.
Yeah, but like we're so close to the All Valley, and we're
the placement of it feels weird.
Yeah, exactly. All right, number 9, Evan.
So episode 7, literally like what you said. I mean, I liked how they were trying to get Anthony in Cobra Kai in Miyagi-Do and stuff, but I just don't think like. There was just, as you said, like there was no All Valley like build up, like from episode 5. There was just nothing about it. That was the main plot of the season, and there was just no story.
Like they only focused on it at the start.
Yeah, I mean they did 2 or 3 episodes, and then it was just nothing. But
what's going on, people?
So
King's here.
Oh
But
man, have we started yet?
Yeah, we've only done our 10th. Like, what's your least favorite episode?
Oh, my least favorite episode was number 4.
Yeah, that one. That one really?
It's like,
one,
I don't really remember what's going on that one. Is it not the one with the kids like
the drive-in?
Yeah, the drive-in. Yeah, that was just cringe. I don't know what the hell they were doing in that one.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like Sam didn't want to. I mean, it looked like Miguel didn't want to fight. Sam looked like she wanted to fight. Like Robbie was talking a whole bunch of noise. Especially like when they had it at the sprinklers. I was like, no. Why are we doing it? Why are we here? They should have just threw down and fight right there.
I agree.
Not another Rumble.
I honestly think what they did there, like with the sprinkler, was the worst thing they could have done. They either should have fought or they should have done nothing, because they.
I mean, it's like I was saying yesterday on that. I think they brought the whole concept of no fighting till the tournament in way too early. I think there should have been a moment where Hall gets hurt and then there's an all-out fight, and then they should have brought that in. But they brought it in way too early.
Yeah, I agree. But Evan,
I guess you could argue they were trying to use the water thing from Karate Kid 1, right?
Yeah, that was definitely one of the intentions of that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would have liked that if it was like later on in the season, because obviously they couldn't fight, so it would have made sense to use it then. But because it was like so early, just fight. But yeah, episode 7 just weren't great at all, and back in from what you said. So,
all right, Jacob, number 9.
Well, the 9th one. I'm gonna say I'm tossing and turning between episode 6 and 7. I'm gonna go with I think episode 6, because I just, as much as there were funny moments like Johnny trying to recruit women for his dojo and finding Devon and stuff, this is the part of the season where things started to decline for me. I think even in episodes 4 and 5, there was still a sense of urgency and focus for the All Valley. But in episode 6, it just felt like from that moment on, it just didn't feel like, there was that urgency. It felt like, okay, the All Valley's coming up, but we've got to do all these like side quests. We've got to do all these side missions. And as funny as it was, Johnny trying to recruit people, and then Miguel like boosting himself up. I think that was the start of the lull for the season for me, where I was just like, oh no, okay, this is all right, but I mean, it's funny, but I mean, come on, like all Valley around the corner, and then the saving grace of the episode was Eli and Dimitri for me, and then Dimitri getting him back into it, and then Eli joining Miyagi. But knowing that they don't really do much with that afterwards was quite disappointing. So that's my 9th episode.
Yeah. Before we move on, Strike, I'm sorry I missed this, but thank you for the $20, man. You're the man, dog.
Raise a pint.
Yeah. All right, Yinko, what's your 9th?
Might get slack for this one, but episode 10.
Whoa!
Whoa!
Now you got
with the hot takes.
Well, you got a good explanation for this one, right?
Oh,
okay. What's the nuance?
Well, 7 and 8 I have, but I mean it's just kind of just like on the bottom. I don't know. It seems like the earlier episodes have more like dynamic and more stuff going on, but yeah.
Wow, man.
It's just a ranking, but
you just put it there to bring in some controversy.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I know what you're getting at. You mean like with the way this season played out, like the All Valley when it got there, it wasn't as epic.
Yours is overwhelmed by the time.
It weren't worth the weight that we thought it would be.
Yeah, I think I know what you mean. This is why I said that as many epic moments as there were in the season 4 All Valley, I think the season 1 All Valley I prefer. Might be a hot take, but I think I prefer.
We should talk about this on
part is in episode 10. Obviously, is the ending, but aside from that,
oh yeah. All right, King, what's your 9th?
My 9th episode, like Jacob kind of changed my mind for my original one, so like I'm actually gonna go with episode 7. He kind of convinced me to kind of change a little bit. Yeah, episode 7. Now that I think about it, yeah, it was funny, but like you said, like it was starting to get to the point of, dude, we're like 3 episodes away from the All Valley. This is live or die, and we're like making jokes, no urgency, with like oh my McNuggets. Oh come on, I mean that's funny, but like, come on, man, like, I mean, yeah, it was kind of like. What the hell, Johnny, Daniel? Like, obviously, you just are about to hand over the trophies to Robbie and Tori, bro, because, like, obviously there's no urgency. So, yeah, I have to agree with Jacob on that. He changed my mind.
All right, my number 9 is episode 4. Yeah, a lot of, I didn't love the whole Tori party Sam provoking her thing. I don't know. It was like kind of filler, but it was also earlier on, so I give it that. And like the driving, it was like it felt like it was leading up to something like epic, like a great fight, and then sprinklers, and which is a cool callback, but it's. They just built this all up for nothing really. And yeah, a lot of cringe dialogue. But the end of this episode, I love the end of this episode where Silver and Kreese walk into Miyagi-Do. Then you got the Karate Kid Karate Kid 3 flashbacks playing. I love that scene.
It's like the ending sort of like saved the episodes from being like god awful, like in terms of the whole.
Yeah.
But I like the Johnny flashbacks too. Him as a child. But yeah, that's my number.
Choice.
All right, number 8.
8. Right. 2 words. Episode 9. Carrie Underwood. And also,
Moment of truth.
being serious, it just weren't the All Valley like we thought it would be. Like we've waited the whole season for it, and it just weren't the hype. There was no build up. There was no excitement. I wasn't excited for it as much as I would have been if it was the normal tournament. I just don't. I think by them changing it, I get what they were trying to do, but it just ruined the whole concept of the tournament. I mean,
it felt like a Netflix show. That's what you're trying
Yeah.
to say. It was a
Oh, yeah.
Netflix show. It felt like Netflix just took a big old poo poo.
yeah,
That's what
I
I
mean-
just say. It's like my least favorite season. I mean, that's
Yeah,
a whole
I mean-
nother season.
yeah. I mean, I'll get onto the whole episode thing later, but I mean, if even the moment of truth, like they didn't need to use it. Like use the normal version. I don't mind. It's still a good song.
I would have
Or
preferred either use Joe Esposito or just use soundtrack.
Either get Joe Esposito in for a live performance. That would have made so much more sense to sing "Moment of Truth," or use a song, or Eye of the Tiger or something. Like Jacob said, that would have been just as epic. But typical Netflix having to get their word in, so ruined it. And I was quite disappointed with Your Valley. So
Mhm.
All right, Jacob.
I'm going to go with. So we're on the which episode are we at now? Eight. So I've done 8, 7, 6. Okay, so I'm going to be saying 6. Now I think it is 7, because I said 6 before.
Yeah.
So this one, as much as it was kind of as good as it was getting some kind of detail on Anthony and where his potential can go and all that kind of stuff, I do feel like that is misplaced, because that should be stuff that we should focus on like either earlier on the season or not at all. And this is like the moment in the season when I want the focus to be literally on the All Valley. Like, how can we prepare? And instead of like focusing on Eli and his Miyagi-Do training, Miguel preparing and Cobra Kai preparing and that intensity there, instead, you know, we've got all this kind of like stuff going on, and then we've got all this like sub story with Miguel and Anthony, Daniel and Anthony, which is cool. It plants a lot of seeds for the future, but I didn't feel like I cared about it as much as I wanted to if it was placed maybe earlier on or saved for next season, which I think would have been a good idea to save it for next season, because now that we know, spoilers, Daniel lost, that means he could focus on Anthony next season. That means it would be better placed. But with this season, I don't know. It just felt like, okay, we're focusing on Anthony and Kenny, who are cool, but I want to focus on the characters who we know have a chance at winning this thing or really going far in this tournament, because, the All Valley is just around the corner, But there are some redeeming qualities to the episode. It does, again, as I said, plant some seeds. It does lay some good foundation, but it's just, meh.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll just say quickly, with Kenny and Anthony, I think that they're trying to set them up, like, not for this All Valley, but they'll definitely be, I think the next All Valley will be based off her, them two and Devon, and that'll be like the ultimate ending, and then that'll be it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Spin-off series.
Nah, season 6.
Cobra Kai Jr.
It's gonna happen. Netflix ain't stupid. They're like, oh no, we ain't gonna get rid of it.
They want
stupid.
like 4 or 5 spin-off shows in the next 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
It's guaranteed.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, those guys are gonna be around for a while. Like, oh no, you think we're gonna let this gold mine go? Hell no! Like,
good. Oh no.
Also, that library fight in episode 7, like, how is there no teacher in the library? They just leave that library.
Exactly.
Yeah, they just leave that completely.
Well, why is there no nerds in the library?
it's just like the police officers. We don't get the actual.
Yeah.
We don't get an actual thing unless you get assaulted by Terry Silver, and that's when you get the police on your side.
Yeah, I saw
yeah.
something where it's like the one time the police come in, the one time the cops come in, they arrest the wrong person.
Yeah. And it happens to be when Terry Silver's involved.
Yeah, like the worst time. All right.
Um,
What's your eighth?
Me.
Yeah.
So like I said, keep in mind I just did my ranking like 5 minutes ago. I'm going by my notes that I wrote on my second watch. Um, so I am actually tied with Jacob. I'm actually episode 7. I have down Fusion Styles, Karate Kid 1 arc, and Crease arc. Down. What episode was the flashback?
That was 3.
Oh, that was 3.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it was. Yeah, Young Crease, yeah, 3. Yeah. So pretty much whatever Jacob said was 7 for 8. Yep.
All right, King.
I have to go with number 3. Like, I mean, yeah, like Kenny's story was kind of like Kenny's story was cool, but like the whole entire I think it's really because of Kyler. That's probably what it was. It's like Kyler's like getting on my nerves. Like, yeah, let's go, man, let's go, pussy.
Let's go cry to mommy.
Go cry to mommy. I'm like, stop it. No, this is not the way. This is not the way. Like, it's like, if Sean was around, this would not be happening. Like,
oh, they're definitely fighting next season for sure.
Oh God, Jesus!
Kenny's gonna set Kyler up strong, boy. He says like, "Hey, Kyler, you remember that time that you did my initiation? Supposed to do with my brother?"
On it first, and then Kenny's just like, "Hey, you remember when you punched me in the face and then you made me do all that stuff for you?" Sean's like, "Well, it's time for you to do it now, bitch."
Now the real pain.
You know what? Kyler's gonna get the mistreatment. The mistreatment when when Sean gets there. He's gonna say, "Yo, what's up, dog?"
that's my brother, homie.
He's gonna say, "Shut the hell up, punk ass." Right there. But yeah, it was that, and also like Kreese kind of like triggering Terry Silver's PTSD again, like making him remember about remember Cobra Kai never dies, and then he puts the ponytail on. I was like, oh man, this is a good episode, but it's like not my like. I don't think it's top 5 in my opinion. It's just like it was really because of Kyler.
Bottom 5 Cobra Kai in your eyes.
Yeah. So, but yeah, number 3 is my number 8.
All right. My number 8 is episode 8, Party Time, Prom.
Yeah.
The only thing that really I really like about this episode is the Silver versus Johnny fight. Like that's what moves us up to the 8th spot because I did not expect to see Johnny versus Silver. I was just waiting for like Daniel versus Silver, and I wasn't even thinking of the Johnny versus Silver fight. But I'm glad we got it, even though it was short. Like it was really good. Like I'm satisfied with what we got there. Like Johnny using
Miyagi-Do. Oh
yeah, and then even Daniel using he obviously wasn't in a fight, but when he was talking to Anthony and he breaks his iPad and is quiet, it's like, well, where you learned that from. So I like that, and the prom had some prom stuff, of course, prom fight.
Cringe.
Yeah. Think he broke my heart?
Oh, God.
Lines like that. And like once again, like they're doing this stuff with Anthony, like why he's a bully, like why are we doing it this late? Like we're in episode 8. Like the next episode is the All Valley. Why are we focusing on Anthony's why he's a bully right now? Like we could have done this earlier.
Much earlier.
But Ralph Macchio's daughter was really good for her role. And I like that My Cousin Vinny reference with Marissa Tomei. But yeah, number 8 is Party Time. All right, Evan, 7.
Episode number 7 is probably episode 6. I mean, it was very funny. Like Johnny seems like asexual and getting Miguel to or That was just and trying to get what was it? He tried to get Mitch dressed up as a girl in the girls bracket. That was hilarious. But like the All Valley scenes with the boards, that was just like that was shocking. Just poor.
Shut the hell up, penis breath.
Yeah, and then well, I can't even remember half what happened in half the episodes. Episode 6.
That was when like
Yeah,
Amanda and Tori had that talk, and Sam walked in on them talking.
Oh yeah,
What the hell
yeah.
you doing here?
I like that. See, that was like a good scene because it shows that like Amanda's like will be the key for Tori and Sam to reconcile
sister.
and be sisters, eh? Like so. I mean, everyone thought it'd be like Julie Pierce or someone, but no, it's Amanda, not her. So
Yeah, I like that they did that too because it's
Two more
unexpected.
yeah, I thought that was So it was all right. Again, nothing special, but had some good storylines in it. But
Yeah.
weren't great.
All right, Jacob, 7.
7. I went with 10, 7. I went with episode 5 for this one, and with episode 5, mid-season is usually when things really sort of reach a breaking point before things are about before shit gets real, and I'm torn with this episode because as great as it is seeing Johnny and Daniel duke it out again, and you get the great training montage between Johnny and then Daniel has one, Hawk's purple hair and all that. And then Sam, coming into her element against Daniel, and then them putting, the kids are like thinking, oh, how are we going to get revenge on Hawk? The conversation between Kreese and Silver. I think what drags the episode down for me is the fact that as cool as it is seeing Johnny and Daniel have a proper match this time, I just feel like this is not where our focus should be. And I feel like it weakens the season 3 finale when them two actually come together. Like, I feel like it just weakens it a little bit for me. And I don't really like that because the season 3 finale is so up here that when they bow to each other in the dojo, obviously they were going to have like spats. But while this is going on and they're having their fight, Hawk's getting his mohawk shaved, and Hawk's already been sidelined enough this season. And then, it's shaved and then they're bickering again. And it should be the kind of thing that maybe brings them together and it pushes them further apart. And it's just like, man, cool episode, but just that one thing between Daniel and Johnny, as funny as it is, like when Johnny tells that guy to shut the F up and then, beat it, it just kind of drags drags it down a little bit for me. Still like it, but yeah that's my 7.
I get what you mean there. Because I was thinking that too, like they split up, but now when you rewatch the end of season 3, it's like it's not as satisfying as it was before season 4. Yeah. All right, Yinko, what's your 7th?
I have 8. Again, I think that was the prom fight, right?
Yeah, that was prom.
Yeah, it just gets kind of silly. Just gets kind of.
Yeah.
I do like Silver's manipulation. That's where he gets really, really crazy.
Oh yeah, that ending with him and Stingray. That was crazy.
I mean, total full blown. I mean, just nuts. He's drinking. He's throwing the bottle. He's just like, it's like, he was like in Karate Kid 3, just like a freaking maniac.
Exactly. Yeah. King.
But I was gonna say also, this is where Kreese kind of turns. I think Kreese kind of sees his ways a little bit too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably when he thinks like Silver's like, this isn't right. He's thinking I need to get Silver out of here as well.
Yep.
And
Mm-hmm.
obviously, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had a moment of sympathy.
Moment of sympathy. Surprised.
Mm-hmm. King, 7.
Mine's was number 8, just like Yinko. It was really the prom fight that we did not need, despite what other creators wanted. Like, no, we didn't need that. This would have, like, if if they didn't have the prom fight, this would probably be in my top 5. But like, because I just wanted the kids just to chill out, but I wanted the adults to duke it out, if that makes sense. You know, I mean, it's like as much as I love Sam, she will always forever be the GOAT. I freaking love Mary Mouser. Oh, you're always behind me. I'm like, oh, Sam.
Oh no.
No. Mind you, she would have beat the crap out of Tori if like Miguel didn't get over there in time, because she about to ground and pound the hell out of that girl.
Yeah.
But it was just not needed. I was like, dude, why? This is not the way. This is not the way.
This is not the way.
I was like, I mean, and then the only thing that saved that episode was the Johnny versus Terry Silver fight. If they didn't have the Johnny versus Terry Silver fight, number 8 would probably be like the last one for me, or number 9. But yeah, I just wanted the kids to be normal. Can we just go one season where like there's no like fight before the fight? Yeah.
One night of fun.
Yeah.
If you were going to fight, you need to do that in episode 4.
Yeah, exactly. Have that fight instead of this one.
Yeah, 4 or 5, not now.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh my gosh, really? You broke my heart too. No, Sam, this is not the way. This is not the way. You can, no.
And the awkward pause as well.
I love evil Sam, but like, no. See, on this channel, you're gonna get real news, not the fake news, not propaganda, the real stuff. I'm done.
The real McCoy.
Yeah, man, I agree. But my 7th is episode 3. I like the whole roof jumping thing, Johnny and Sam bonding. And I like the Kreese and Silver scenes, but like everything else, like all right. If I'm gonna rewatch the episode, it's really good just for those scenes. But like Daniel and Miguel bonding was it was cool to see, but I think they did it better than the next episode where they're driving and they're in the car. I like that scene better than when they were actually fixing this car. That's just me though. And but yeah, I love the whole the roof jumping thing. I would have liked to see, because apparently I showed you guys this video. Like there's behind the scenes video of like the other kids jumping, which shows that everyone jumped. Yeah,
they
so I would
probably
like to see
it on the deleted scenes on the DVDs probably.
Yeah, I would have liked to see like the rest of them, especially Dimitri. See how that would have gone. But yeah, it's solid episode. All right, Evan, episode or what's your 6th?
All right. So episode 4. So this was an alright episode. I mean, like all the Sam and Tori stuff, I think that was definitely going to happen at some point, where Sam was just going to try and take the piss out of Tori and everything, just in a funny way that what she thought was funny and stuff. And then you had like Johnny getting jealous of like Miguel and Daniel, and then obviously having Dimitri like tied up to the thing with like the against the punching bag and stuff. That was funny.
That was funny.
Chris hit Dimitri in the McNuggets, man.
Yeah. First of all, how did Chris miss that badly?
Exactly.
Bad D.
Yeah. You did that on purpose. Me.
But the thing is, like, this is some things were good. Like, this is Silver's like first time back in Cobra Kai, and saying like a man can't stand, he can't fight, and having that spar with Robbie and stuff, that was epic. That was
Cool.
Chills. And that all the Cobra Kai scenes felt good, but there were just the more Miyagi, those scenes just felt like it was sort of split in two. Like one storyline was good, the other was bad. But
yeah,
I mean, only 2 or 3 episodes were actually good throughout the season, so most of them weren't great, to be fair. So
yeah. All right, Jacob.
Okay,
for
I'm
six.
gonna piggyback off of Evan and put episode 4 as well. I do like Silver and Robbie. Like I wanted more of that. Like that was sick. I was like, oh, that's good. And this is at a point when Silver hasn't gone crazy. This is normal Silver. You know, where he's like, it's okay. A man can't stand. He can't fight. He's nuanced. The later Silver and later on in the season, he would have dismissed that Miyagi-Do teaching instantaneously. And I like that this is the episode that Silver comes back in and his reintroduction to the fold. And then as the season progresses, the episode progresses, you start to see this kind of thing when Johnny's now instantaneously getting jealous of Daniel and Miguel. And I understand why. The flashback of young Johnny, that was beautiful. But I felt like, there was like seeds being planted on both sides of the fence to start like drama. And start distractions from the All Valley when, the whole premise of this season for me was that. And I felt like this episode could have gone more with that. It's definitely not by far the weaker of the one. I put it ahead of episode 5 because when Robbie says, we won't at the end of the thing, like at the drive-in, I'm like, someone's going to get it next. And Hawk does, but knowing that, nothing happens is why I put that one lower. But I just feel like there's even moments where Robbie sat in the car when Kylo's bitching around Kenny. I feel like Robbie should have said something in that moment. I don't believe that Robbie would just be okay with like Kylo picking on him, especially when Kylo knows he can get his ass whooped by him. And then the no fighting till the tournament thing, was brought in way too early. But I will say this, the ending of the episode when they walk into the dojo and then the flashbacks are playing, chills. And is that right across the board this season? I think in terms of episodes, most of the episodes have great moments and great endings, but just not as good overall as like previous seasons. Like there was so many episodes in season 3 where, man, even the lull episodes were still powerful. But yeah, that's mostly why I put it where I put it. Still good though. Just wish it was more.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yinko, what's your 6? You're muted.
Yeah.
Probably episode 5. There really wasn't much going on here. Hawk and Dimitri, they bonded, right?
No, this was the episode where Johnny and Daniel fight and Hawk's mohawk gets shaved off.
Right, but isn't that when Dimitri breaks into Hawk's place, right?
No, that was 6.
Oh, that was 6. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just wasn't much going on besides that fight.
Yeah. All right, King, what's your 6?
Episode 6. So that's the one where like it's the aftermath when Hawk is depressed. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Episode 6, and also that's the episode where like Silver and Kreese are starting to have the little civil war amongst Cobra Kai. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has a weakness. Yeah. It's like it was there, but like it's like it was kind of forgettable too at the same time. But like I just like the fact that Silver and Kreese. Well, you kind of saw Kreese starting to get jealous a little bit. Like, no, it's my dojo, not yours. Mine. You only brought you here to like do basics. I take over. Hold the hell on. Remember who's in charge. I'm the person who saved you out of that piss hole, which you are a man. Kreese, dog, you are wrong for that, man. Always bringing up
that was episode 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
6 and 7. Yeah, 6, 7, like those episodes right there, like they fluctuate, but overall, I mean, it was cool. Like, I remember it, but I don't remember it all the way. Like it just did peak to me. Oh, and also I like the fact that Dimitri even admitted that he can't beat Robbie. He was like, "You think I'm Miyagi's savior?
Beating Robbie King?
He should. Yeah. He who should not be named.
Alfred.
Rhymes with Dobby. Yeah, my 6 is episode 1. Let's begin. Really, like all these episodes going on, like I like them all, like 6 through 1 on my ranking. But really solid start. But I just think like based on these other episodes, in my eyes, it's like kind of overlooked. Or, yeah, but really good start. I remember when we all watched it for the early premiere, we all loved it. Yeah, really, funny moments, of course, with Johnny and Daniel bickering back and forth. And I love what Hawk did, where he came up with the idea to build the training stage or whatever it was. And yeah, I don't have too many problems with the episode. I think it flows really well. It's just compared to these next few episodes, which I'll get into after, it's just not as great in my eyes compared to those ones. But really solid first episode. All right, Evan, top 5 or 5?
All right, so 5th, episode 2. So episode 2 was so this is Amanda and Tori's sort of hang on.
Encounter, yeah.
Yeah, so this was their sort of encounter, and I thought they did that quite well because it sort of set up like a good storyline, and then this was Kenny's first introduction with Anthony and stuff, which was Anthony Lapusso, and it was mostly, as far as I remember, it was like quite a lot of montages, like with Johnny and Daniel and stuff, and
yeah,
which was, I think it was alright, but again, most of these episodes just lack good endings and stuff, but they just weren't great for most of the part of the episodes. So again, not great, but it was alright.
Yeah. Jacob, 5.
5. So for me, I'm going with episode 3. And this is the part of the ranking where, I mean, for most of my rankings, it's always going to go up or down with these episodes anyway. Could always change in future. But as of this moment, with season 4, episode 3, I don't know. You've got Kenny trying to become a student of Cobra Kai, which is cool. And all that. And I like the bond between Robbie and Kenny. I like the family get together. I like Johnny pointing out the fact that Anthony's like lost all of his weight. He's like, "Oh, what'd you do? Swap over to Whopper Juniors? It's got a growth spurt. Dipshit. Still a piece of crap." And then you've got the training montage opening the episode. That was sick. And then there's just parts over the season where Silver's like remembering all the flashbacks of Vietnam and all the promises and whatnot. And then Kenny, coming to the dojo and saying, "Hey, my brother Sean, yada, yada, yada." Really good episode. Miguel getting the fish, Sam jumping the rooftop. So there's a lot of cool moments in this episode. I don't really have any negatives for it. I like the Robbie and Kenny training in the backyard thing, like after he sees the phone of him being bullied. Like I love the bond between these two. Miguel and Daniel working on the car. There's a lot of good moments. The flashback of Terry and Kreese towards the end was brilliant. I had chills when Terry put his ponytail back up.
Yeah.
And then, where you go, Mr. Payne. So pretty solid episode.
Woo! Bless you. All right, Yinko, number 5.
I got 6, episode 6. This was the Kicks Get Chicks episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there again, it was just kind of one of those episodes where it was kind of funny, kind of serious, kind of not.
Yeah.
But this is where Tori gets kind of like in a better place.
Yeah, we heard, family backstory. Yeah, shown finally. King, what's your 5th?
Number 5. It's gonna be episode 9, the All Valley. I mean, as much as I liked it, it was really. It just felt like an All Valley Netflix tournament. That's how I felt Like, you know, I didn't get no training. I didn't get no Carrie. I love Carrie Underwood. She's a gorgeous, beautiful woman from the South. Love her. But
it's the
As me and
moment of
Seven-
truth.
As me and Evan said, I mean, who?
You haven't even put the clip out, and I don't blame you. Who the hell is this woman?
I was just like, I mean, you know, Miguel, his back getting messed up. That was sad, but like, even I just didn't feel hyped up. Like, you know, this is the All Valley. It's about to go down. Let's go. For episode 9. I was like, nah, I ain't feeling it. Like, because I was gonna say, like, if we're season 1's All Valley was better than the Netflix All Valley, in my personal opinion. Like, I thought you had more on the line, you had some more emotion into it. You know, like I said, like Daniel and Johnny, they weren't taking the tournament seriously. Therefore, I didn't really take episode 9 seriously. So it's okay. Like, you know, it's okay.
Yeah. I feel like, especially with the way episode 8 ended, with like Silver beating Stingray, and you're like really focused on that, and you're like, "Ooh, what's gonna happen with this?" But then next episode starts right with the All Valley. You're like, "Wait, we're going right from that to this." I was like, "Okay."
Yeah.
And I mean, with it as well, like, you knew like what was going to happen. You knew with the brackets it'd be Tori, Sam, Robbie against Miguel or Hawk.
Yeah,
you sort of knew that in season 1, but it was like from season 1, it goes so many different ways in season 4.
And I still say to this day, the 2 bracket system is the most dumbest thing that the creators have came up with. They have an L on this one.
It just ruins the legacy of the All Valley. Like, what was the point?
Like, it's still an L in my opinion. I know we are supposed to trust the writers. Well, they effed up in my eyes on that one, and I'm still sticking to it.
They got a handy check from Netflix though for doing it. So
yeah,
and in the chat right now is John Hurwitz. I'm kidding.
Sorry, John. I'll tell you straight to your face. Like, your two bracket system was stupid. That's just it's
Netflix for that one, King.
It's a humble but factual opinion. There's no debate.
All right. My 5th one is actually episode 6. I think this one is actually really underrated. I think it's, first of all, it's probably one of the, if not the most funniest episodes of the series, with Johnny recruiting the girls and what he's saying to them. But also, like, I think we get some great like scenes, especially the one with Dimitri and Eli. Like, that's one of my favorite Dimitri scenes. Like, he's the one getting Eli back into it. Like, he's the one to do it, not Miguel, not any of the senseis. It's his binary brother, which I think was great. And he didn't. And when Eli said he was done, he didn't stop trying there. He kept trying, and he showed him who he really is and why, you know, you're the reason I did karate, so I'm going to return the favor now. So I thought that scene was great. And also the scene in the grocery store with Silver, Daniel, and Robbie. I thought that scene was great.
I forgot about that one. That's a good one.
Yeah, especially when, you know, Daniel was getting somewhere with Robbie. Like, Robbie was listening to what he was saying about Silver. And I love, like, the acknowledgement that, you know, with Karate Kid 3 in that scene, where Daniel was telling him, like, really what happens. Like,
yeah, he's not trying to sway him. He's like, this is exactly what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
And you can tell Robbie listened because he looked at him before he leaves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And then you just see Silver just lurking in the back while Daniel's just...
He got that Palpatine.
Like a horror movie kind of thing over there. Like
I said that whole
walk. You know, you had a little bit of Cobra Kai inside you.
Yeah, that whole scene was intense. Like, just the music playing, and then Silver walking in, and then Robbie listening to him. I really think this episode was really good, and of course, and I like the Amanda and Tori scene, and we learn more about Amanda, like why she's helping out Tori.
It shows you how much Daniel like grew, because he wanted to hit Silver so badly. Like, he's like, I dare you. I dare you, Daniel. I know you want to. Come on. I know you still got that Cobra Kai in you. The thing that I taught you. Like, yeah. So, yeah, that was a good episode.
So yeah, I think that's a really good episode. I think underrated too. Really underrated.
Yeah.
All right, Evan, what's your fourth?
All right. So this is episode 5. So this is when Silver and Daniel meet for the first time in like 35, 34 years.
Yeah.
That was probably one of the best scenes, I think, personally, in episode. And then you've got what else have you got? See, I can't even remember because there's like there's not like I know there's not a lot, but there's like episode. What the fuck am I thinking? This is Robbie's. I can't even speak. Hawk's mohawk getting shaved off, and then you've got the Johnny and Daniel fight, which was not needed, but was still epic and stuff. I think that with that, anytime they fight, it's always going to be a draw because there's always a divide of like who's the better fighter and stuff. We'll never ever get to know, or we'll never know who will win. They fought again.
They'll leave it even.
Yeah, and then you've got Silver and Kreese going out to dinner and talking about like Silver owning like he knows he's in the wrong like for like having this new lifestyle and stuff, which was epic, and trying to convince Kreese that he wants another chance, and then that was sick. And then obviously the montages, and then it was a good episode, and obviously saw Sam sort of being like Johnny when talking to Daniel as well, which I thought was quite good. So
yeah,
probably one of the more better episodes of the season and stuff. So,
all right, Jacob, fourth.
Nice. I'm gonna go with episode 9, the first All Valley part. I think as much as the Carrie Underwood thing is, you know, as I said, I mean, you can interchange that with, you know, you got the touch, dun, 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 you got the power. You can put that in there if you wanted as well. I think it has good moments as well, like with like Robbie and Kenny. That whole scene is haunting as hell. Like when he's like, I thought you, like, as soon as Kreese is like, and even Silver has a look on his face like, I know what he's going to say to him. And then he's like, I thought you wanted to be a champion. Are you fighting your friend or your opponent? He's not talking about Robbie and Kenny. He's talking about him and Silver as well. Like it's a double meaning. And then Robbie just sorry, RJ, if you're watching, knocks Kenny's face like clean off his shoulders. Then you have Hawk getting his mojo back, and he's like, you know, I'm the guy that's going to win this whole effing thing. You know, giving my boy Eli the F bomb. There you go. That's you over there. And then I like how they walked out like it was like a WWE entrance, like they were walking out and their themes were like playing as if it was like playing in the arena. Like that was cool.
It was like the Creed. That's what I thought.
Yeah,
Creed.
That's exactly what that was. The soundtrack was on point. The fights were cool. Like when after they did the skills competition, which was pretty sick. I mean, you had Miguel doing his thing. You had Mitch throwing the stick at the judges. Robbie looked threatening as hell. And Dimitri, what development for that dude. And then it ends with Miguel's like coming back into play, and then I love this. They make all the sounds drown out. You just hear the soundtrack, and then Sensei, and then it's like even between Eli and Miguel up to that point. And I think there's so many moments in the 9th one that are really good. I just wish that there was more oomph in the episodes prior that built it up a bit more. Because like when you finish episode 8 and then you're in episode 9, it's like, okay, bang, we're in the All Valley. It's like, whoa, how did we get here? But I think the episode is strong. It's just I wanted more from it, but there are good moments in this episode. And then you see like everyone shine individually, and then my boy Kyler gets away with another ass. Like he avoids another beating again. But Eli knocked him down 3-0. I mean,
but he didn't score a point against Lip. So
Oh, and isn't it in the ninth? Is it in the ninth episode that they figure out that Robbie's taught them Miyagi-Do, and then they start
Yeah.
seeing all the images of like
Yeah.
the other students using
Yeah.
Miyagi-Do. Even like my favorite one is probably the flashback of him showing the car to Robbie. Like it's just like, oh,
Yes.
that's when it like really sets in. Like you wanted to win so bad, you told them all our secrets. Hey, goal is to win, and that's another good conversation between Daniel and Robbie, where he's like, I'm not going to sway you. I'm just going to tell you what's going to happen next. Love that.
Yeah.
But the Carrie
Everybody
Underwood
thinks their
thing is a
way is
bit
the
of a-
only way. You, my dad, Cobra Kai.
God.
That's such a sick
Truth is,
quote.
it doesn't matter what way you fight as long as it works.
Yep.
Oh,
All right, Yinko 4.
God. what's that?
2.
Just read it again.
Episode
2.
2.
Episode 2.
Yeah, I mean, it's just my top 4 are kind of like the ones in the beginning. That's just where the height of the show really shines. Is in those first four episodes.
Yeah, it felt like early, like season 1, those earlier
Yeah.
episodes, which I think was great because it kept it more grounded, and brought it back to its roots. So yeah.
Yeah, it just seemed like the beginning of this season was really good, and then it just kind of went down. But I just wish it could have been a little better. But I think season 5 will be where it's at.
Yeah. All right, King 4th.
Number 2. And with that episode, like with all the Kenny stuff going on, like basically that whole entire episode is Kenny just talking to Sean. And like that's basically what saved that episode. Is like when Sean was just smiling and saying like, oh shit. Okay.
As soon as he said karate, and Sean's like,
Karate.
shit.
Karate.
And then Kenny's like, why are you saying that? It's like, well, I know a guy.
I know a guy. Yeah, so I like how they disguised that episode that all that time Kenny was actually just talking to Sean. So I thought that was pretty neat. Thought that was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like all of the Kenny parts, they were talking to Sean, and then you got Daniel and Johnny learning from one another on like how to do Miyagi-Do and Eagle Fang, and like Johnny just saying like, see this is the reason why we got wussy men like you, like beer.
Automatic
Veggie
transmission.
burgers, automatic transmissions. May as well let another dude bang your chick.
Yeah.
No,
I
be
was
there.
like, yes, I love this. Like,
Yeah.
like Daniel teaching Miyagi-Do, saying like when Johnny just basically said, "That's it, I'm done." Like that thing was uneven in the first place.
Yeah, no be there.
Oh man, no. Yeah, that episode was hilarious. Like that was like, okay, the early episodes, like Daniel and Johnny were not getting on my nerves. Like I actually like were invested
Mm-hmm.
in the relationship. You know them like iron shopping. Yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool. So yeah.
Yeah, my 4th is episode 9. I think one thing I like about this episode is like it shows off like the side characters at the tournament, like Dimitri, who like what Jacob was saying, like with those weapons and him fighting. I think that was great, and even like you see like Nate fighting a little and him doing the skills, and you even see Bert get that 1 point against that guy who's
you know when like Eli jumps to kick the board, that flashback me to season 2 when they're at the Valley Fest. He jumps up and he boots the board. I was like, I had flashbacks to that moment. I was like, oh man.
And
yeah, that was cool.
also that just proves that how cold Kenny and Devin are. Like Kenny and Devin were being high schoolers, dude. I mean, well, Kenny was being high schoolers and he was in middle school, bro. So you could arguably say that Kenny is like at Dimitri's level, like not above, not at Kyler's level.
Training.
Yeah. He's like him and Dimitri are like this, like in my opinion, Kenny and Dimitri. Like he's above Mitch, Bert, and Nate, and probably Chris. But
Definitely Mitch.
Yeah.
Could say that
definitely
for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, besides the Carrie Underwood part, I like this episode, and also one of the most underrated characters of the season is the announcer at the All Valley. That man was gonna be pumped up. He was like, "You ready? Are you? You? It's karate time." Like that guy was great.
Bonsai badass herself.
Bonsai badass. Yeah, so he was great, and I like this episode.
Yeah.
So, Evan, what's your third?
Top 3,
my
baby.
Third is it's episode 3. So this episode is good because we sort of get more. We get the only sort of new flashback of Silver and Kreese, which I was quite disappointed that I was like the only one that we got because I really wanted a lot more.
Yeah, I agree.
After what happened after Karate Kid 3, I still think there's something we don't know that happened after Karate Kid 3 because I was quite disappointed. And then you've got episode 3. Yeah, so you've got Johnny and Sam bonding, that was a really good thing to see, and obviously you see that Sam sort of understanding like why Johnny sort of is the way he is, and then obviously Sam doing what Johnny tells her to, and that's brilliant. And then you've got Robbie and Kenny, which was quite good. I like their bond in that episode. That was all right. So it was a good episode, but obviously better up there because it's got flashbacks, it's got more story to it, it suits the story, and it was action packed in a way which was needed. They didn't overdo it. There wasn't too much, so it was all right.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, Jacob, 3.
Okay, so 3 I've gone with episode 2, and I put this one ahead of 9 because I think this is like early on in the season where, you know, the stories are starting to have the foundation be set for them, like with Amanda approaching Tori in the restaurant, which then sets that arc in motion for the rest of the season, which was probably one of my favorite aspects of it. You get introduced to Kenny and the potential, like, you know, the potential of where his story can go. But it's mostly Johnny and Daniel's bonding. You know, Johnny learning Miyagi-Do, having the whole montage, and they couldn't let him have a complete montage without it ending in some kind of disarray. Like it just hits the final note, and then he rolls into the pond, and then smacks the floor. He's like, "All right, okay, you done? Because tomorrow you learn real man karate." But even before that, like he's like, "Okay, Miyagi-Do, it isn't anything." And then the flashback plays of Miyagi saving him. Daniel mentions, "Hey, it saved you a few weeks back." He chops the bottle in half.
Yeah.
Then you have like Kreese and Tori having the conversation in the dojo. Kenny's
Oh, yeah.
father, you find out that Sean's involved. The Sean end credit scene where it's like, shit, you know, and it's just like, oh, I like that. And then, you know, him training Daniel as well. And then Daniel just like using it to go to town on a bunch of hockey players, the conversation between Kreese and Amanda. And he's like, "Hey, ref, spearing, double minor." It's like, "Oh, sorry, he's the one that called it." You know, it's like when your boyfriend do all the talking for you, he says you're a pussy and he can kick your ass any day of the week. Oh, calm down.
So.
And then he uses the "no be there" thing against him.
Yeah.
Where he's like, "What the hell were you? No be there." And then you've got the whole bit with Kenny where he's in the bin hiding from them and he's scared, and it's sort of like that karate mythology coming full circle again. And the decision where Anthony doesn't want to hit him shows, maybe Anthony isn't so much a jerk. Don't know about his friends, they're jerks. But then when Kenny rolls up with like the tail on the thing, like I was cracking up. I was like, "Oh god, that is a costume."
Like, come on, Kenny.
I was like, "Dang it, RJ, what are you doing? What are you wearing?"
RJ, this is not how you get
I was like,
married.
"What are you doing, man?" And then you have the bit of a noosh where he's like, "Do I need to start wearing protective gear to work?" And then, you know, after like Tori threatens him, and then the ending. I love the ending. It's so ominous between Kenny and Sean. And you know, this episode isn't perfect by any stretch, but I think it does a good job of balancing stuff. and setting the arcs in motion for the rest of the season. So that's why I put it ahead of 9. But yeah, that's my number 3. That's my Peter 3.
Peter 3.
Yanko?
Evan, you said your number 3 was number 3, right?
Yeah.
Same for me. Like I said, that young Kreese, the Miguel and Daniel bonding, and then Johnny and Daniel training. Finally.
Yeah. Oh, forgot about that. Oh, see, I forget everything. Like with these episodes, it's.
All right, King 3.
My number 3 is episode 5. Yeah, I love the sensei fight. I thought that was hilarious. See, that was like, okay, that's funny. We didn't need the prom fight, but the sensei fight was good. Like that was funny. But I enjoyed that. Also, this is where I was still like 50-50 with Hawk. So that's why I just said, okay, Mofo got what he deserved. Like, I believe in when you reap what you sow, and he came back tenfold. So I didn't have a problem with him getting his hair shaved off. Everybody said, "Oh my gosh!" I was like, "Good, there you go. Shouldn't be talking all that crap." What else about that episode? Especially Johnny when he's saying like elbow, 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 point. Lawrence.
Shoulder checking in the balls, take him to the mat, elbow, 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 point. Lawrence winner.
It was the fact that like Johnny. It was the fact that Johnny was just being Johnny, and like I said, this is where it just like it wasn't cringe. Like when it started hitting episode 6 through 10, that's when I got tired of Johnny and Daniel. But yeah, episode 5 that was hilarious, especially when like Miguel's like looking at Johnny saying like, "What are you doing?" Like he's like talking noise on Twitter. Like, yeah, me and LaRusso.
Who does he think he's tweeting to? You're his only follower.
Especially when Daniel was like talking to
life and social media.
Especially when Daniel was like telling Mr. Miyagi, "I'm sorry, but I have to do this. Please forgive me." I was like, "Oh my gosh, why you guys are acting like this is like you guys are preparing for an actual prize fight? You guys are two old grown men fighting beyond your years." But it's so freaking hilarious. So yeah, I love.
Imagine Johnny gets Instagram and like does a live video, and it's like suggestions to join live videos, and he's just doesn't know it's on, and he's doing something with Carmen or something, and like everyone joins it, and he gets like loads of followers. That would just be hilarious.
I got Miguel, what's up? Like, I got like 5,000 like people that are looking at me. What does this mean?
Sensei, what were you doing with my mom? What were you doing with my mom, Sensei?
On live Instagram.
Yeah, but yeah, that's my episode 3.
Yeah. My third is episode 2 as well. I think this is just great. This is what we love about Cobra Kai. Like the comedy, the fights, the
perfectly balanced.
Hilarious episode with Daniel and Johnny first both learning each other's styles, which I don't think they could have done any better than what they did. Because that was great and funny, interesting, and just cool to see. And like this episode really too, it keeps adding layers to Kreese's character, which I love. It's like, especially when he sees Amanda at the grocery store, and he's like, I respect you looking after your daughter. That's what every mother should do.
Yeah,
which I
he's
think
not just going there saying, "Hey, what the hell are you doing?" He understands.
Exactly. Yeah. And they're just like, I know Jacob, you just made a video on Amanda and her development this season, which I think was great. And this episode is a big part of that.
I was just gonna say one thing, like in Kreese's weird way, he was basically saying like, I accept responsibility on Tori on that part for breaking into your house, like in his weird way, like he's like saying like, I respect you protecting your daughter. That's him saying, I apologize for Tori's behavior. He ain't gonna like.
He's not gonna say that.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
He isn't going to say I'm sorry. He isn't going to outright say that I'm sorry, but he's going to say, oh, okay, I respect you doing what you needed to do.
Yeah.
And that hockey fight, I love. I absolutely love that. The 80s hard rock music playing. Yeah. And Daniel's throwing these guys around with hockey sticks. And I loved it. And Robbie teaching them Miyagi-Do was really cool to see. And the Kenny backstory I loved, which I didn't know how I was going to feel about Kenny going into the season. But just based on this episode alone, I already loved what they were doing with him. And it's weird. This episode had so many characters like missing from it, but it was one of the best episodes. Like you didn't have Miguel, Hawk, Sam. None of them were in that
I think
episode.
that's when Cobra Kai shines, is when there's not too many characters in the broth, and you're kind of allowed to focus on others.
Exactly.
But because they got so many now, trying to balance it across the season is just going to be tough for them.
Yeah, exactly. But top 2, Evan, what's your second?
All right.
Top 2.
So second best episode, episode 10.
Bang.
I think that this would have been
Same thing.
First, but again, the All Valley, it was very so intense, like the camera angles and the fights, but it just weren't the normal Valley, which puts it down a second. But the ending was, I really like the ending. Also, you got Chosen coming back. You've got Miguel's letter, which was emotional, and you've got Silver betraying Kreese, and the Johnny and Robbie scene, which was that was the scene, and it was the ending. Again, the ending sort of takes away some bad parts of the episode in a way, but I mean, Your Valley was good. From as good as it could have been. It couldn't have been any better in terms of it being a new tournament and stuff. It was good, but could have been better. But again, it was the second best. It was still really good and emotional, happy, laugh. Just everything about it was in that one episode, one finale, which was brilliant.
Yeah.
So,
Jacob, second.
I will piggyback right off of Evan on that one. I put 10 at number 2 as well. But just because, I mean, this is what we wanted from this season. This was our focus, the All Valley. We're finally here. And as much as there are episodes this season that, are weaker than others and some are stronger than others, one thing this episode does is it does make some episodes better in retrospect, because of the things that this episode pays off are not possible without the earlier episodes. And I love the opening between Dimitri and Robbie. I'm like, yes. And when he's fighting Robbie, it's not the fact that Dimitri's like, come on. It's the fact that Robbie actually smiles while he's fighting Dimitri. It's like he's almost proud. He's like, okay, all right. And then Dimitri throws him on the floor and he's like, okay, I'm going to stop playing with my food now. I'm going to take you out. But I love the way Dimitri takes it. I love the way Dimitri takes it in stride. He doesn't storm off upset about it. He's like, oh man. And Daniel's like, you know what? You were awesome. It's already, I was like, okay, this episode's good. That was sick. And then the Star Wars reference, I was like, woo!
Yeah, you called that, man.
You've been calling it.
I said I wanted Dimitri to say it. And he said it. I was like, fucking called it. Yes. And then you've got Miguel's realization of, my heart's not in it. I don't know what I'm fighting for. And there's nothing more dangerous than not knowing what you're fighting for. He could have ended up winning this All Valley, but if his heart wasn't in it, it's just silver to him. No pun intended. But, he makes the choice to leave. And as soon as he had that conversation with Sam, I was like, yeah, he's going to bounce. And because of the leaked image that we've all seen, now it starts to make sense. It was like, okay, he's going to dip. And then he makes that choice and it's sad and the score's to that crescendo. I'm like, oh shit, man, damn it, Miguel. But then you're treated to Eli and Robbie, the two most aggressive, dangerous fighters in the show, duking it out, right? To the point where it harkens back to the 80s fight movies where they're like, okay, let's just pull the shirt off. Let's go old school. And it just end to end, ending up in sudden death. I was like, oi, oh, this is good. And Jacob and Tanner absolutely killed it in that fight. And then you get the Sam and Tori one afterwards. And as much as it was predictable that it was going to lead up to that with the girl bracket, which is the one critique I have of the season of the predictability, is it didn't disappoint. And Tori winning, as much as, Sam technically had the win, adjusting for refs being paid. I still wasn't angry that Tori ended up with the trophy either, because it was earned throughout the season. The All Valley in general is so strong. And one thing I noticed is that when Sam goes down on the floor, Tori doesn't go over for the trophy. She asks if Sam's okay. And then when Robbie's celebrating with her, Robbie and Tori are celebrating, but it feels like Kyler and Kenny and the others are celebrating it more than they are.
Way more.
And then, you see Tori see Silver with the ref later on, setting up her story next season. You see Chosen at the end of this episode. It's like, oh, shit. And then Robbie comes home to Johnny. Johnny's like, okay, I'm going to go and get Miguel back. Kreese is turned into the police. And it's like, if Silver can do that to his best friend, God help anyone else. I just love the way that this episode transpired. It made all like the lackluster moments this season so worth it for me. I really thought this episode carried it. It's not my favorite, but it does just enough to be like right up there. There's so many hard-hitting moments. And Eli, sir, congratulations on the dub.
Thank you, man. But you did almost have that hit, but freaking RJ ruined it for you. Showing him respect.
And I love the symbolism of that, because I think Eli remembers at that point, okay, I done so much last season. Maybe I shouldn't hold this over Robbie. Maybe if I show him respect, and then Robbie's like, oh, you're showing him respect. This fight should be over by now. Do you want to fight him?
Cinematography in this episode, underrated. Especially that shot where they're both looking at the audience, and the audience is cheering for them. And they're just watching.
Yeah. Even when they're walking up to the mat, and then you see them both like here, the ref here, and then the crowd here. Oh, wow. That was crisp.
I like the one when it was, I think it was the sudden death one, and it was like swerving like really high in the air, tilted a bit. That was the most epic angle I thought was the actual tournament.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then even like the moment where Robbie could have like taken Hawk out, but then he saw the effect it was having on Kenny, and then Amanda's moment with Tori. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff.
Yeah. Yinko, second.
Like I said, I mean, I know what your episode 1 was. What, like in the bottom, right?
Not the bottom, but like 6, I think.
I mean, episode 4 is like my number 2, and I say that because that's like the ending of that episode. Chills.
Yeah.
When you see Silver and Kreese walk up. And that music plays, and also too, this is something that Jacob, wanted to, you have Robbie controlling the dojo, which I thought he would have done more of.
Yeah.
I really thought I thought we would have got more of like an evil Robbie, really, but he didn't. But it looks, when you watch it, it looks like that's where it's going to go. But as the season goes,
yeah, it does have its good moments in that episode.
And of course, Sam being, dark and edgy.
Yeah. All right, King, you're back.
Y'all guys can hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Man, episode 10, of course. I just got to say one thing. We're going to get Magneto in the X-Men next season. Because I called the hell out of that one, man. I said Terry Silver was going to turn. Terry Silver was going to turn on John Kreese, and you know what? I don't feel sorry for Kreese at all, because he got what he deserved. Like, you reap what you sow. Like, you do not do that to people. That was a no, as Jacob would say. Like, naughty.
Naughty.
And also the Robbie versus Hawk fight, that was pretty badass. It just reminded me of an episode on Dragon Ball Z, honestly, like where Goku and Vegeta are just
taking the weight off with Goku.
Yeah. So it's basically just man, that was just a great episode. Just it reminded me of a world martial arts tournament. But yeah, that my nerdum of X-Men and Magneto coming season 5, season 6, we finally get to see John Kreese, Johnny, and Daniel team up. I cannot wait for that. So number 10. Number 10 is my number 2. Woo!
All right. My second is actually episode 5. I really like I said earlier about episode 2, I think this is like the perfect balance of the comedy and when to be serious. I think this episode does, I think, honestly the best with its characters, like the development. Like we see Sam confronting Daniel, which is something I never thought I'd see, because like it's your own father. And
Point Lawrence. You see the way she raised that flag? She was like, Point Lawrence. She was like, yeah, I'm gonna be petty, Dad.
But it also wasn't like it's annoying that she's doing it. Like she's giving you some really good points.
I was on board.
Yeah, I was like, Sam's kind of right here. And then even with Miguel was right when he was talking to Johnny. It's like, I feel like whoever wins, like nobody wins. Yeah. So yeah, I think there's great character moments in this episode, and obviously that scene with Hawk getting his mohawk shaved off, which I called would be in this episode. I think that scene was very intense. And even though I called it, it was still like kind of like I was in shock. Like the mohawk's gone. Like that's insane. And I really did like that Daniel and Johnny fought, because if they didn't fight now, it's still gonna happen later on. I feel like we can't have it any later than now, because now the argument, like who would have won, like they're done with that now, because like it showed they're even fighters. Angle? Yeah, they're even fighters now. So now we don't need to wait. Now since they did it now, we don't have to drag it on like to find out who's the best fighter, because this fight showed that they're even and they can't bring up that argument anymore. And yeah, I love that scene with that opening scene with Silver and Daniel, Johnny, and Kreese. Especially when Kreese goes up to Johnny and he's like, the sign outside says Miyagi-Do. And then Johnny's like,
I love
unless you want it crammed up your ass.
He delivered it in such a way. It was like, really? Sign out front says Miyagi-Do.
Miyagi-Do.
It's like he does care about him, but doesn't want to say.
Unless you want it crammed up your ass sideways, you better take off after your bridge partner.
Your bridge part. Yeah, I love that. Because that's like, yes, Johnny's not falling for Kreese's BS. Like, yes. So I think this was a really great episode.
But will he fall for the
there it is.
The actual stuff that Kreese was going on about in season 5, thinking it is bullshit?
Yeah,
I actually forgot to mention that in my episode of episode 10, where it's like where Silver goes, yes, there it is. I like that Silver's like, yeah, you're not gonna hold that over me any longer, mother.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, no.
Our number one.
So
I think
number
all
one
of us,
is episode 1.
I think all of us got number 1.
No, mine's episode 10.
Yeah, I mean, episode 1, it was like, I don't know, it was the best opening of the seasons of the season since Ace Degenerate and stuff. It had everything. It had flashbacks from Karate Kid 3. It had epic fight scenes with Robbie against the whole of the Cobra Kai dojo, Mr. Sensei Keen, which was that was epic. You had the Daniel and Johnny montages and stuff. You had like even the first scene. I think it was Mitch. He kicked Nate right in the back doing the stances and stuff. That was.
Why do you have a rock in the middle of your dojo?
You find any loose change, it belongs to me. And then you had Hawk ruining one of the door things in Miyagi-Do, and they're just disagreeing. And Daniel turns up with Core's Banquet, which was even more funny. But
oh yeah, that's good.
I mean, just the end scene of that episode as well. Terry Silver's theme coming in, and he goes, Sire.
I mean, because we've got like the same episode number one, Evan. I'll just piggyback off with you. Like it was a great way to open the season up for me. In terms of season openers of what would be the best, I mean, I still think season 3 and season 1 pretty good. Like I think you can make a case for all of them, but I think the episode as a whole is probably one of the best in the show, and I like the simplicity of it. And it does such a good job at balancing the characters. And this is before they start bringing in like Kenny and Devin and all that stuff. And I think that's where the show was stronger, is it had a balancing act of that first. And you know, Silver has the Luke Last Jedi effect, where he doesn't want the hell to do with anything, but you believe it more. You like, it feels more earned. It feels like something that you would believe, that Silver doesn't want to be involved in this. He's cleaned his life up. He's changed things, and that, you know, could potentially change things for the future. Mike Barnes, because, you know, he's a more nuanced person of himself. I like that he doesn't want to come back straight away, and then things start chipping away. Robbie's speech at the end of the episode is like Kreese's speech when he gets Tori back in season 3. I was like, oh, chill, score, my son. I still don't understand Tori and Kyler. Like, yeah, who says we even want you? I'm like, you did. You wanted him last season, the whole of last season. And Kyler, you were like, yeah, you the man, dog. And you're like, you're a little this chump. Get your ass whipped. Shut up. Yeah. I like the scene of Robbie and Sam, where Sam's like, okay, look, you know, I screwed up, but you don't have to. You can make the right choice. Anakin, Padme, parallel right there. And he's like, all right, I don't care. I'm going to go off skating. And then Daniel and Johnny, just the whole episode was like, why do you have a rock in the middle of your dojo? It's like, let's not worry about the fact that Mitch has just probably like got a concussion or something. And then the moment that stuck with me most is when Eli's like, you know, I don't know where I fit in here. And he's like, well, what did you expect? You burnt bridges with everyone here. And true. And then Eli just storms off, and the music's playing in the background. Oh, I love that bit. And then he comes later on with the sledgehammer. And you hear the old school Hawk theme. You know, that like that little, and they use that. I hope that's not the last time we hear it, because it's so like Quiver. It's so linked to Hawk. Like it's just that, like it's like 3 seconds, but it tells you everything. And then he's like, going down. Even got the same face expression, but he's building the sparring deck. I'm like, okay, nice, interesting. And then he says to Johnny and Daniel, you're both right. And they don't take from that. Oh, yeah, he said we're both right. They still bicker later on in the season. You finally change, it belongs to me. Chris throwing up in the boat. Then you've got Robbie taking on the whole dojo. And I remember saying this yesterday, that, you know, Robbie's like, a deal's a deal. I'll go. I said, Tori, if you let him walk out of there, I don't care if you landed a hit. He took out your entire crew alone without getting hit once. If you let him walk out of there, she's like, no, stay. I'm like, Jesus, what a relief for that. And then Kreese and Silver were hilarious, man. Honestly, it was like, something I can help you with. Karate is not a phase. It's a way of life. Harry Silver, I knew, would have roundhoused old Four Eyes
back.
I adore him.
I didn't know you had a karate phase. Karate's not a phase.
As soon as the guy said, "Oh, that's adorable," I didn't know you had a karate phase. I knew Kreese was going to say something, but then he says, "Karate is not a phase; it's a way of life."
Nice friends that you made there, Terrence.
And then what was the cherry on top of this brilliant episode is Terry looking at that bottle, the old school theme kicking in, and then perfect beginning.
Yinko, is yours also episode 1?
Yeah, 1. Yeah.
Yeah. I assume for all those reasons.
Yeah.
All right. King, yours is also 1.
Yeah, episode 1 was my favorite episode because like half our predictions were all in episode 1. I was like, yo, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, we call this thing.
Robbie taking the dojo, Silver hesitant to come back. The seed planted for Robbie's redemption at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Sam, embracing the truth.
Sam and Robbie reaching out to each other.
Miguel coming into his own, Hulk making up for his past endeavors. It was all
I was like, were they watching the Kings of Pop Culture or whatever? I don't know. Maybe they were, maybe they weren't. I don't know. It is what it is. But yeah, episode 1 was the best episode in my opinion, because you saw Terry Silver hesitant to come back. He's like, it's like you meet that old homeboy that you don't like talking to.
Like the flashbacks play when he's like, I was so hopped up on cocaine, I thought I could take over the world. It's like I spent months terrorizing a
teenager.
Yeah.
It sounds crazy for me even saying it. I was like,
I think Silver in the first half of this season is the most nuanced and balanced individual of any. It's probably Bart and Mandarin.
Like he tried to apologize to Daniel. He tried to tell Kreese like, "Yo, you're the one who shook first. What do you mean? You took his son. What do you expect him to do?" Like, so yeah, Silver. I think the reason why I put number 4 as number 4, like for my personal, because it just reminds me of Karate Kid number 3, and like without Terry Silver, this season is garbage. Just like without Terry Silver, that movie is garbage. There's no debate. This is not a fact. This is not an opinion. This is a factual opinion. There's no debating this. Like we know this. So yeah, number 1 is my favorite one. So that's how I feel.
Well, my number 1 is episode 10. Now, I honestly think this episode is damn near perfect based on everything. Like we were talking about earlier, the cinematography, probably the best out of the whole show. That's part of the one thing that Netflix does well.
Yeah, the final shot of like Robbie and Johnny hugging in the original dojo as it pans away.
Yes. For sure, and when Chosen Daniel bowing,
the camera pans at the right time.
Hawk with the trophy, and it shows his back, and he's like, "Yeah." Cinematography great, and it brings back, moments like that one moment from Karate Kid 3, which I forgot about what Miyagi said to Daniel. It's like one. It's like they knew back then they were gonna use this in the show. It's like one day
they bring them like we've had 4 seasons thus far. They've already brought up every phrase that you could think of. And you think, how could they possibly do any more? Never put passion in front. I'm like, what the?
Yeah.
How are they doing this?
Yeah.
How?
And fights, insane. Like, we all said this. Like, Eli versus Robbie. I'm going to say Eli versus Jacob. Eli versus Robbie.
TCK versus Jacob.
Yeah, TCK versus Jacob. Probably the best fight of the show. It's definitely up there. It was intense. You didn't know what was gonna happen. Like it could have gone either way, and yeah, it was great. Tori and Sam fight was awesome because it finally it ended the rivalry. Like when they showed the flashbacks of the school fight, them about to fight, and then the house fight, and then this, that just showed it's gonna end that rivalry.
That was good. I like how this season with the All Valley, it basically brought everything full circle. It used the flashbacks of all the past 3 seasons to close the book on the last 3 seasons and start a new journey.
Yes. Exactly. Well, there's so many twists and turns in this episode, which I loved because like they were so unpredictable, and it wasn't even like overdoing it with the twists. Like it was like it doesn't need to happen. Like with Kreese, Stingray saying Kreese's name, and Daniel and Johnny, teaming up together again.
When they bowed there.
And the score, whew, chef's kiss. I'm listening to that on repeat. And
especially the score that kicks in when Kreese looks at Tori when Johnny when he's seeing Tori and Silver, and then that's playing, and then shirts off, and so many.
And I don't think there's like a single character this episode which I disliked. Like I think I liked what they do with Kenny and Anthony in that.
And Anthony up in the
locker. Kenny beating Anthony. What they did with Kreese, how they with Silver's telling Tori, if she comes in and get like that again, hit her in the other eye. I'm like Karate Kid.
And it's just so interesting, as I was saying with episode 1, like you see him like the most balanced and nuanced person, and then you go to episode 10 and you're like, man, he's back to bloody, he's back to usual.
Yeah, which I think was one of the best parts of the season was the journey. Like Silver was different in episode 1, he was different in episode 5, and he was different in episode 10. Like he had a whole.
And the season slowly starts chipping away at him.
Yeah, props to Thomas Ian Griffith, who was absolutely incredible. Absolutely, I think he needs some award. He needs some at least nomination, like the Emmys or something, because that was probably the best performance in the show. Yeah. And
I think it's funny how like we have one part of the Kings that like episode 1, and part of the Kings like episode 10 is their number 1, which is kind of cool. I mean, that's what we're all about.
That's what we're all about, man.
So yeah, damn near perfect episode. And yeah, that's our top 10, or that's our ranking of every episode in season 4.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it was a good stream. Thank you guys for coming on, Jacob, Evan.
Oh no!
Nico.
Like before we even go anywhere, hold the phone, Eli. You got the trophy, but I'm on redemption here. Can everyone raise a toast to my man TCK up in this corner right here? Because I tell you what, this dude is on the road to 4K subs. He's gonna get that dub, just like he got the trophy. But also raise a toast to King, Yinko, and Evan over here, and TCK.
And
thanks for bringing us on, man.
Thank you guys for coming on. It's always a good time. You guys can catch us on tomorrow on Jacob's stream, the Kings of Pop Culture. All right. So yeah, and thank you guys for coming on. Thank you guys, everyone in the chat.
Came over for my He's All That watch party.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Everyone in the chat for watching. Thank you all. Subscribe to all these guys' channels.
You let all your friends and family know that this man's hitting 4K. Be there for when it happens. We're gonna get into 10K this year.
You're on the rise of 10K.
See, this is Eli and Robbie. This is what's to come in future seasons. That was what about then.
I mean, Jacob Bertrand's been teasing unexpected team ups. So.
Oh, do you know what, bro? When you left the He's All That stream to go and start this up, I don't know if you saw it, but about a minute later, I was like, "Oh, sugar, I regretted it. Oh, crap," because I should have said, "Why leaving early to fix that stupid haircut?" You know what?
You know what, Jacob? The rivalry isn't over.
It isn't over.
I had to watch the fight in Packers game. See you, King. Yeah. Thank you guys all for watching. Thank you guys for coming on. Check out their channels, their Instagrams, everything. And yeah, remember, sweep the leg.